Hi, my name is John, and welcome back to my station. I'm here again to do another brand new 2025 review of the movie The Monkey.
The coroner said it was an accident, but it was no accident. It was a monkey.
This movie is directed by Osgood Perkins. It's based on the book written by Stephen King. It's starring Theo James, Tatiana Maslany, Rohan Campbell, Elijah Wood, and Sarah Levy. Okay, so this movie starts off by taking place in the 1990s, or late 1990s, actually 1999, and it's starring two twin boys, and they come across a monkey that was somehow left to them by their dad, who's younger in their life. They're being raised by a single mom.
When I was a kid, my twin brother and I found something that loved to kill. I did everything I could to make it go away, but it had other plans.
And shortly after finding this monkey, they start realizing that the monkey is killing people. And if I had a pull quote for this movie, it would be Imaginary, Final Destination style. Honestly, this movie seemed to have a nostalgia throwbacks to many movies, like a little throwback to Norman Bates in the Bates Motel. So the premise of this movie is actually really good. The story is written by Stephen King, so of course it's really good. I honestly feel the way that this movie comes off, it's kind of all over the place. So let's dive into this. So I compare it to Imaginary, which was released last March and was pretty much seen as critically not good. I thought Imaginary was okay, but here's where I see so many similarities to Imaginary and The Monkey. In The Monkey, you have a small monkey that's pulling all the strings. In Imaginary, it's a small little teddy bear. They're both connected to little kids. The monkey's connected to the two twin boys. And in Imaginary, there's a little girl. Also similar to Imaginary is like a generational throwback. So it starts in 1999 and then shoots up to the present. Just like in Imaginary, it starts in present day, but there's a lot of the crucial parts of Imaginary are thrown back to the mom's childhood.
Hello, brother.
Bill.
The monkey that likes killing our family. It's back. It must be vanquished.
Why don't you vanquish it, huh, Bill?
Another thing I found interesting, there's one scene where our main character is crawling through a little doorway, which is a big plot point in Imaginary. Similar to Imaginary as well as the characters, they were kind of B characters. They just weren't. Some of them were quirky, some of them were funny, some of them were, none of it in Monkey just comes together right. It just seems to be a little messy. Now, there are a few characters that I did really like, and we'll get into them. So the way the monkey pulls off the kills in this movie is so Final Destination style, except for I feel like Final Destination and similar to The Omen as well, those movies did it way better as far as the way the kills were. These kills were very fast, whereas in Final Destination there was a lot of it's about to happen, a lot of anticipation, a lot of waiting for a death, or the deaths tend to be very slow. Slow coming. But in The Monkey, they're all very fast.
Oh, that's odd. I don't remember locking this.
You wouldn't happen to remember if my aunt had a wind-up toy monkey at the yard sale?
Was it?
No, 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 no!
So I think also what partly ruined my movie-going experience with this movie was it got spoiled for me. There was someone had posted something that had a very big spoiler on it on YouTube, and also after seeing what was posted on YouTube in someone's thumbnail versus what was in the preview, which I have been trying to avoid trailers and previews, but I managed to see this one. And once I had seen this one all the way through, I just, I would watch it when it would come on. I'd seen the Monkey preview when we went to Hard Eyes a couple weeks back, and it just, there's so much spoilers, That's why I was so happy that my movie experience with Companion was so great, because it wasn't spoiled. I went in so blind and enjoyed the twists and turns in that movie, and I knew where this one was ending, and I knew that it was going to end a certain way. And I haven't specifically gotten into any spoilers yet, because I don't want to put any spoilers in until I give you guys my basic review, and then we're going to get into some spoilers. So let me just say, basically, overall, I didn't like it. I felt like it was a little here and there all over the place with the plot points, and I felt myself checking my watch. I mean, I do want to give it props for cool characters and some cool scenes that were isolated, but otherwise it just didn't make sense, and it was kind of, I don't want to say it was boring. I was engaged mostly, but it just I guess not my style. I'm gonna get into spoiler now, so if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, it's not terrible to go see. It is entertaining. There is some value to it, but it's also one, for my recommendation, I would say maybe just wait for it to go to streaming, or when you catch it on Hulu or whatever, whenever it comes out. It's not. I would say it's worth going to run to the theater and go see it. So let's get into some of these characters. The two twin boys, and then the future version of the twin boys are played by Theo James. I mean, their character overall, even when they were kids, they were kind of jerks. The evil twin, as I called him, the evil twin was really a jerk. He was mean to the weaker twin, and the weaker twin was just so weak and such a nerd. They were such opposites, of course. I didn't like their relationship. I just felt like it was so much bullying. He was so mean to him, and at the end, it just, even as adults, it was the same thing. He used to do this thing where he'd go to shake his hand, and then just about to shake his hand and pull his hand back and slick his hair, and I remember that when I was a kid. Kids used to do that all the time, and it was funny, but this kind of came off bullying, and then even when he was doing it as the adult version, he's still sticking the hand out and slicking his hair back, and I couldn't get with the two main characters. Now, one of the characters I liked, actually, the opening is what I like. The twins' dad is returning this monkey, or trying to bring it to a pawn shop to get rid of it, and he's warning the pawn owner, don't mess with the monkey's little twist key, things will happen. And that's how they're setting it up, and that part was great. I liked how that scene played out, and of course the pawn owner was like, what, twists the key, and lo and behold, the monkey.
Over life and death. In its most devious ways.
And the pawn shop owner dies in a Final Destination style death. Then we have the mom of the twins, who's played by Tatiana Maslany. Anyhow, she was okay.
Everybody dies. And that's life.
I just felt like she wasn't, I think they were trying to go for this, like, because she, okay, she dies as well, of course, by the monkey. And I think they're trying to go for this whole, like, soft emotional feel with her death, and as the twins grow older, they're supposed to look back and be emotionally attached to her, but I just didn't see that attachment with them in the beginning of the movie. She didn't give off real mom vibes. I mean, she played the part, but it just kind of fell short for me on her. Then they move in with their aunt and uncle, and their uncle is played by Osgood Perkins, and then he dies. So now we flash forward to the future. Now it's current day, 25 years later, and the twins have grown up and they've separated apart from each other. And somehow, mysteriously, the monkey gets into the situation again. And I guess it's kind of odd how deaths seem to happen before the monkey was involved. But now people are dying in their current life. So what the good twin, or the nerdy twin, Hal, is dealing with a son of his that he's kind of isn't in contact with all the time and only gets to see once a year according to the movie. So, and now he's about to see him for the last time, and he's about to lose his rights because the mom's boyfriend's going to come in, take over and adopt and pretty much get rid of him. So I mean, that part kind of all just seemed thrown in. And you know, so he's meeting with his son, and his son's asking him questions because he's doing a project on his family tree, and he lies to him about, you know, having no family, no brother, no sibling. Of course, he wants to protect his son from this potential of the monkey, and that's part of the reason why he wanted to be so distant from him, and probably part of the reason why he was only seeing him once a year. You know, the monkey kills people in their past, and then they spend their whole lives letting it define them. Okay, let's talk about Rohan Campbell. He plays, I don't even know how to explain what character he really is. I guess he is more connected to evil twin, which is Bill. He's, I guess, trying to get the monkey. He's the one in possession of the monkey in the future, in the current years. And, you know, his character is just kind of strange. He had really long hair, and I guess, you know, I was used to seeing him in Halloween Ends, and, you know, that was such a controversial role that he played in Halloween Ends. You know, and this role was kind of bizarrely similar to that. Like, it just, I didn't understand the point of his role really, except for, I guess, to be the one having the monkey at some point before the climax. And okay, a character that I actually liked and found amusing was the real estate agent. So Hal is coming back after his aunt has died from the monkey, of course, and this real estate agent is bringing him into the house, and his only concern is trying to find where this monkey is.
Oh, that's odd. I don't remember locking this.
You wouldn't happen to remember if my aunt had a wind-up toy monkey at the yard sale?
Oh, not a cherished childhood memory now, was it?
And I guess she's just trying to do the typical real estate thing with him about the house and this and that. But she was so weird, and she reminded me so much of the mom/aunt in Sleepaway Camp. The way she pulled off her attitude and her weirdness and her way she dialect and talked, it was just...
We don't want to be late for the boss! Goodness, no. No, that wouldn't do at all. Richard, Angela! Oh, here you are. Look what I did. I packed you and your cousin some goodies.
It was so weird the way she was kind of flirty with, you know, the main character, and just that same exact thing. And I said, oh yeah, that's her. That's where they got that one. So that was a little, I guess, I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was an homage to that character or not, or if it just kind of came off that way to me. So Elijah Wood plays the, I guess the new dad in, you know, in the Young Boys Equation, and to me, he fell flat. I could barely even remember much about him. You know, just his little monologue about, I'm pretty much taking over as the new dad and you're out of here. And a funny character was the priest. There's this young priest, and he's like a stoner. I don't even know what he is. I don't know why they cast him as a priest, except for maybe to make it comical, but he was nothing like a priest, but he played the role of the priest, and he's kind of like, you know, giving these funerals during the, you know, when people are dying, and he was part of the early years. Okay, I guess the only thing I'm going to mention as far as other characters was I just found these amusing, and a big spoiler here because they're involved in the way in. But there are these a busload of cheerleaders, and when the aunt is dead, they're outside of her house and they're cheering. You know, they're giving this cheer, like, rah, rah, rah. I'm like, she's dead. Why are they cheering? Cheerleaders, but whatever. And then they come back at the way end of the movie after everything's fallen apart. And, you know, big spoiler, everyone dies in this movie, and that was the big thing. But everyone doesn't die because the young kid and the good twin are still driving away alive. But this whole little town in Maine is having this apocalyptic moment at the way in. I guess the monkey just went after everyone at the end. You know, I guess he was wound up too much and it was very, again, Final Destination style, but on speed. And of course, just like at the end of Final Destination, when the one girl gets slammed by a bus, the cheerleaders are on the bus and they have this instant death, all of them in flames, and their heads get knocked off or something. It was funny. That part was funny. But I felt like the apocalyptic part had some cool special effects, but it was kind of like, it's like, well, we want to have the apocalypse, but we don't have a budget to create a real apocalypse, so we'll just kind of have little gags in here, a little fire over there, a little bit of someone running over here. And, I mean, it gave, you knew what was going on, but like when you think about apocalyptic movies, it was no Armageddon. Okay, so I guess my favorite death in the movie, I'm going to call it A Night Swim to Remember. Hal is with his son and they're at the hotel and there's this girl about to swim and the monkey's just been wound up and she's about to dive in and the monkey causes an air conditioner or some sort of electrical unit to fall into the pool and boom, she dives in and like explodes, kind of like the way the animals, the creatures died at the end of Elevation. It's just this, it didn't match. And as I almost slipped earlier, Osgood Perkins gets run over by horses. That was amusing. And his cameo was funny. I mean, I did enjoy seeing him in the movie, and he does look like Anthony Perkins. So, like, every time I see him, I just think of Norman Bates in Psycho, and then there was the little Norman Bates reference in there that I... Rohan Campbell's death, he has like all these bees that swim down his throat. He has a fear of bees, of course. The aunt falls into a box of fish hooks and she's got all these fish hooks in her face and then she peels them off and then her head sets on fire. And then next thing you know, she runs into a post, and that I think that was the kill where I was like, okay, this is definitely like a Final Destination movie in disguise. Okay, early on, one of the good kills I thought was the babysitter. So the babysitter gets her head sliced off the chef in this like Japanese style restaurant, like a Sue restaurant or whatever. And it kind of was a little slow at first where she's dead. You see the slice on her neck, but like her head's just kind of slowly going. And then next thing you know, it falls right into the middle of the table and into the cooking area, and her head's right on I mean, that was funny. So, I mean, again, it was kind of like, was this movie going for funny? Because I guess, when back in the day when you would watch Final Destination, all 5 of them, and now we have a 6th one coming, some of those deaths were comical too, but it played off as scarier to me. This movie overall wasn't scary. I never felt like I was scared. So one thing I didn't like about so many of the kills, there's this one part, and I guess it was like after the aunt dies in the future, they go into like 5 or 6 deaths right in a row of, just this person died, this person died, this person died. And I thought, why are we just getting snapshots of their deaths? Some of the deaths were pretty cool, and I thought, man, it would have been a great scene to see these characters have more build up and anticipation on their death, and they just were thrown in there as, they died, and boom, a shot of what happened to them real fast, and then that's it, the next one. And the next one, I thought, man, I thought maybe, when seeing that and after that part rolled through, I thought, this movie would have done better having more of just lead up to the deaths instead of all this craziness in between the death scenes, and then the deaths happen by the monkey. But like more of like the monkey's there, the death's coming, something's about to happen, there's build up, there's pause, there's wait, it's like that's the type of, and that is more of a Final Destination, or what I think of good movies, have that nice slow build up to their jump scare or to their kill, whatever it might be. I'm not a big jump scare guy, but I do like jump scares when they're done right. And, I don't think this movie had jump scares really, because again, the kills were just, you knew they were kind of coming because the monkey was wound up and boom, it would happen fast. So it wasn't like a jump scare feeling. It was just kind of more of a jolt. But, okay, so kind of like the movie, I guess we're going to wrap this up. I kind of went a little bit out of order of how it all unraveled, but when I look back at it, I'm kind of torn. I'm torn between two ratings that I have, so I'm kind of deciding in the moment of where I'm going with this. And I really think that I'm gonna give it a veggie burger because I like the idea of a lot of the ideas of what it was and the premise behind the story of this monkey. But it just wasn't my style how they did it, how it unraveled and how it ended as well. I thought the ending was strange. I liked the idea of an apocalyptic ending, but I just didn't like the apocalypse that unraveled. So at the end of the day, this one is not so hot. Anyhow, I will be appreciating you guys liking, subscribing, and if you enjoyed what you saw, come back. I will be doing some more as we get into March.